What's up, Bucks fans? Welcome back to another one of my videos. I am here to do my draft reaction, and I apologize for the delay in my reaction. The reasoning is, first off, because we won the Super Bowl, you know, I wasn't into the draft as much as usual because we were usually like, what, top 10 pick. So, you know, you get really invested into these top picks and these top talents. We were number 32. We didn't really have any holes because we signed like everybody back, which was the first time ever since 1979 Steelers, I think. And it's pre-salary cap era or pre-free agency, something like that. So we, you know, did something crazy. We didn't really have any immediate needs. So I really wasn't invested into the draft picks, who the mock drafts had us taking, all that, because 32 is really late and you really don't know. But before I get into that, I am Rami B. If you are new here, make sure you click the subscribe button down below. As you can see through my channel, I do Bucks reaction videos, weekly reaction videos for all the games, free agency. We didn't have any big signing like Tom Brady like we did last year. The draft, when the schedule comes out, I'm going to have my schedule reaction and predictions and all of that kind of stuff. So, you know, definitely make sure you subscribe and stay tuned. But I will get into my draft reaction now. If you see me looking down, I have notes so I can kind of be as accurate as possible. And just keep in mind that, again, I was not really paying attention to any college players this year. And normally I don't watch college football, so I'm not very aware. So it's kind of stuff I just see online throughout the draft process. But I did do a little bit of research and got some notes on some of the players. So let me get into it. Don't crucify me, because every time I post one of these, people in the comments sometimes are like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, you don't pay attention. So I'm prefacing this with I don't know. I'm just reacting to what I've read. So let's get into it. Our first pick, round 1, pick 32, we took Joe Trion, who is an outside linebacker, edge rusher from Washington. Immediate reaction was, I was expecting us to go edge rusher, get some depth, since JPP is a little bit on the older side. Not saying he's old and he's done, but he is 32 or 33. And that, you know, he'll need breathers throughout the season. He needed breathers kind of last year here and there, so it's good to have some depth there, especially considering that our two defensive ends are probably the best duo in the NFL. So whoever we get will just be developmental and literally just in for backup and that. But last year he opted out because of COVID, but the year before he played, he had 13 games of experience, 41 tackles, 12.5 tackles for loss, and 8 sacks. He sits at a 6'5", 262 pounds, and ran a 4.65 40, so he's pretty quick for his size. And I saw pictures of him working out. There's a picture floating of him like shirtless, and the dude is ripped. He's not like what's his face, Aaron Donald ripped, but he is pretty lean. He reminds me of JPP in terms of stature, tall, a little bit more slender, very athletic. He is raw, so I think being behind JPP will be very informational and educational for him to learn and develop, especially having, like I said, JPP, having Shaq Barrett, and then Larry Foote, our D-line coach, all of them together. And then having Ndamukong Suh and, you know, having a lot of experience on that end from edge rushers and the D-line, so he'll be able to kind of soak in all the information. So like I said, he is really there for depth. Will he be a starter in the future? If his development continues, sure. When JPP retires in 3-4 years, who knows, at this point JPP can probably play like another 5-6 years, but once he retires, he'll be kind of that next wave and come in and have a lot of experience under his belt, a lot of good experience and information from those veterans. Our second round pick was very controversial, 64th overall pick, Kyle Trask, the QB from Florida. I figured that we should go QB just to have someone developing behind Brady. Brady's obviously earned the right to play as long as he wants. So if Brady plays another, he has 2 years left on the contract. He may play till 45. So he may throw in another year in there potentially, or another 2 years. Who knows how healthy he feels. If we win another Super Bowl, he might say, you know what, I'm coming back. But we did need somebody there. And there's a lot of controversy. Some people saying he's trash, some saying he's all right. A lot of people saying he's good. It's a lot of different narratives running around. But he is 6'5", 234 pounds. He's a bigger size quarterback. Not as mobile as everyone's saying. Or not as mobile, which is what everybody's saying. But he doesn't fit like the new age of quarterbacks. But Bruce Arians said he drafts quarterbacks to throw, not to run, and he fits kind of that mold, that physical physique of quarterbacks that Bruce Arians likes. There are questions about his deep ball. Some people saying his, I know Kurt Warner, I just read, said something that his deep ball, or for someone his size, the ball doesn't come out the way it's supposed to. So there's a lot of questions about his ability to make throws, but Bruce Arians and Jason Light said he should be able to make every throw that they ask of him. I know he had a really good year last year, and he was a Heisman finalist in the running for the Heisman Trophy. And I think he led college football like the most deep completions or deep accuracy or something like that. Big time throws, kind of like how Brady was. So you know, he's coming in. He's not expected to start. If he does start, that means Brady got hurt and the season is in jeopardy anyways. I expect him to play preseason games, and honestly, I don't think he will be second string. I think it'll probably be, I know they want Blaine Gabbert back, so I think it'll probably be him, but I think he'll just be in there for preseason and just kind of practices and things like that, just to develop and then learn behind Brady. I'm not sure if Brady's like a big vocal coach for other quarterbacks, but definitely by the way he carries himself and the way he practices and presents himself in practice and in games, Trask should be able to learn from that. And I mean, worst case, Brady retires in 2-3 years and Trask isn't the guy. We're going to be rebuilding anyways at that point. Our third round pick, pick number 95, was offensive tackle Robert Hainsey from Notre Dame. I like this pick. He is a very versatile guy. He can play guard, tackle, and center. I don't think he's going to play tackle since Donovan Smith has a big contract and Wirfs was arguably the best right tackle in the NFL last year. Guard, we have Alex Kappa and Stinney, who filled in great, so that the right side is good. And then obviously Ali Marpet is a beast on the left side. Jensen, I think he's going to replace Jensen in the long term. Jensen is a little bit older, has a really big contract. I don't think we re-sign him after that. But currently Hainsey will be, Hainsey, I don't know how to say his name, will be a depth piece, rotational piece if a player gets hurt. I don't see him taking the position from, taking the starting job from Jensen, not yet, at least not this season, but he is someone that can play all positions, and if there are injuries, can really plug and play, and we shouldn't lose as much production. So I like players like that. They're very versatile. Since we don't have players, drafted players that are going to start this year, it's good to have players that can fill in different positions just to give them more chances to produce. Our fourth round pick, we traded up on this one. Pick number 95, we got, pick number 129 in the fourth round. We traded up, I think, with Seattle for him. Wide receiver Jalen Darden from North Texas. We have a very, very crowded wide receiver room, as you know. We have Evans, Godwin, AB, Scooter, Tyler Johnson. We have Jaden Mickens. We have Justin Watson. So we have a lot of players on the wide receiver room. So I do not expect him to contribute really at all on the offensive side of the ball. He'll more than likely be used on special teams. He has 4.46 speed. He's a little guy, shifty. Punt returns and kick returns, since our punt and kick return unit was not the greatest last year. Special teams was definitely our weak link. He may, if he replaces anybody, it's going to be Jaden Mickens, who was average at best in punt returns. He's 5'9", 175 pounds, so a lot smaller and lighter. But so is Scotty Miller, so I'm not going to say, you know, that's a hindrance against him, because Scotty Miller definitely did produce. But I don't see him taking reps from Scooter or Tyler Johnson, who has proven to be clutch and play well. Obviously needs some work, but you know, we had the pandemic and the lack of offseason. So I think Jaden Darden will definitely contribute on special teams, though. We had a round 5 pick, a number 176. We took linebacker KG Britt from Auburn. We have, again, a deep linebacker room. As you know, we have Devin White, Levante David. We just re-signed we just re-signed a backup. His name is blanking right now. But we do have depth there on that position, so I think he's just going to be added more depth. He's a good tackler, run stuffer. Pass coverage a little bit of a liability, but I don't expect him to play much at all. Again, special teams player needed for depth. Round 7, we took cornerback Chris Wilcox from Birmingham Young, BYU, with pick number 251. He's very interesting. He's definitely obviously developmental since he is such a late round pick, but he is 6'2", 195 pounds. He runs a 4.31 40 and a 37.5-inch vertical, so he's a very, very athletic corner. Taller, long, and with speed, so he's going to be able to cover some of those bigger receivers. He does excel in the press coverage, man press, so that's good, since obviously our defense, as you saw within the last year, was only and mostly dominant when we played press man. Our team didn't really play that well defense when it was zone or, you know, off coverage. So he will definitely come in. He, again, not expected to start. We have Carlton Davis, who's emerging as one of the top corners in the NFL. We got Sean Murphy-Bunting, who in the playoffs really kicked it up and hopefully can carry that on. And then we have Jamel Dean, who's a speedster and can be a liability at times, plays a little bit lazy, lets receivers get behind him. But, you know, through the playoffs we saw against really elite quarterbacks, the defense really, the corners really played their part. If he does end up getting a starting position, that means he was really, really good and really impressive, which is a win for us. And if not, it's not a bad thing, because, again, we have corners that are developing and that are pretty good and can, you know, anchor down that secondary. But he'll probably be, again, for special teams as well. And then Mr. Irrelevant, the final pick of the draft, round 7, pick 259, linebacker Grant Steward from Houston. Again, super crowded linebacker room, special teams player. He's fast, physical, and tough, and he struggles a little bit in coverage, kind of like KJ Britt. But again, he should be able to contribute in terms of special teams. And again, most of these players are going to be used for special teams and depth. None of them are really expected to start immediately. So again, all of these are depth pieces. As I mentioned, we brought back all 22 starters from the Super Bowl, and we brought in other players as well that were free agents. So we pretty much brought 95% of everybody back. We are probably the most stacked team right now. Second year in the system for the offense under Brady's second year. So these players are all just going to be luxury pieces that are here to help, contribute in the special teams and long run, expected to maybe start in 2, 3 years, 4 years. But yeah, that is my draft analysis. Comment down below what you think of the draft, especially Kyle Trask, since that was the most controversial pick and a lot of people were kind of against it. But yeah, thank you for tuning in, Bucs Nation. Really mellow draft this year, again, because we weren't a top 10 picking team, top 5 picking team, and we couldn't really draft anybody that's going to be franchise changing, at least not immediately. So yeah, comment that down below. And as always, thank you for tuning in, and I will see you all next time when the schedule releases, which should be in a couple of weeks in mid-May, maybe end of May, for my reaction to that. So thank you, and as always, I am out. Let's go!